Williamson is 10 times the world champion. Bax and Stupilis, they've done it again. Unbelievable. Marvin van Lukener certainly deserves the red plate. And what an incredible sport this is. Fast, high and spectacular. Unbelievable.
On the far left-hand side of the screen, Marvin van Lukener and Robbie Bax, the current red plate holders. There they are then. The Belgian and the Dutchman, Van Lukener and Bax.
They have to make it work from that position because you'll be squeezed out when they go into that right-hander. You've got to make it work. It's the shortest route to the corner, and that is precisely why they've chosen it. But Koen Hermans lining up his options here now alongside Etienne Bax. These are the top 3 riders this weekend, it would appear. They are not, however, the top 3 in the championship because Julian Veldman, thank you, nice one, he sits in second place with a reduced deficit of, an increased deficit, I beg your pardon, of 6 points. He came here 3 points adrift. He's now 6 points adrift of Marvin van Lukener, so he needs to beat van Lukener to pull it back.
Kurt Varrick and Larry Kuhn, as it was a home GB for Kurt Varrick last time out in Langay, and I'll tell you what, they did a fantastic display. They're there in 4th place in the championship on 119 points. There is a local rider, Lucas Cherney, with his passenger, Bastien Chopin. The factory Java crew there with Davy Sanders and new passenger for the final half of this season, Luc Rostang, the Frenchman.
Davy Sanders was going very, very quickly there. Our Peter Stegman, our lovely father and son team, he is looking up to the sky, talking to his greater power, whoever that might be, and everyone has a different choice. Justin Kuban and Dion Rietman, passenger for the weekend. Look at the camera, thank you very much.
Thumbs up, that's what we like.
Jake Brown and Joe Millard. Joe Millard, something of a favourite of mine because we go back a long way. I used to race against his father. Number 18 there, Marco Heinzer, Meinrad Schelbert, again with a left-hand chair. The Swiss had a tradition of left-hand sidecars. Tim Leffering, the 17-year-old, he and Kostas Beletskas have gone together very, very well. Tipped it up, got it a little bit wrong, but that's no problem. You can do that. Everyone makes a mistake. Sven Visseling, Kenny Van Galen. Van Galen, one of those vastly experienced Dutch passengers, and of course Gordiev and Kasper Stupilis.
Gordiev, of course, home GP again last time out, and Kasper Stupilis, reigning world passenger champion. That was 2019 with Etienne Bax, of course. They won 2 championships together, but I think I'm right in saying that Kasper Stupilis, 4-time world champion as a passenger.
Indeed. Yeah.
2 of those with Daniel Willumsen in 2003 and 2004.
And I've described him many times as the hard man of Sidecar Motocross. All the passengers are hard, but he is hard in another dimension. He is incredibly tough, psychologically, physically, something approaching a veteran now in the world of passengers. There is a limit, age-wise, to the amount of punishment your body will take, the agility you can display, and Kasper Stupilis is still at the top of his game, but well aware that he's approaching the twilight of his career. We are into 15 seconds. When the 2-second board goes, I'm going to rely on Bradley to spot him at the top, but I think we can expect to see Willumsen get out of the gate. I'm not sure about a whole shot for Bax again. Whether it was a lucky streak or whether he's found new fame, energy, I've no idea. The revs rise, and away they go, over the gate they go, stamping towards, and look at the inside line coming. Koen Hermans gets a cracker, but it is indeed Willumsen again. Daniel Willumsen and Rodolphe Le Breton, who got the advantage this time, was Etienne Bax quick around the outside. There's a massive...
Tim Leffering, Kostas Beletskas, there's Adrian Peter Miroslav at Luke as well, and Martin Zizlavsky is in the mix there as well. That's the number 73 crew. Hopefully they're all okay. They're all getting back onto the machines, but Tim Leffering and Kostas Beletskas, we can see Kostas Beletskas on the inside of the circuit there. Hopefully he's okay, but as you say, Daniel Willumsen, the 10-time world champion, leads the way ahead of Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset. Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens, they've got a better start than what they did yesterday. Is that Van Lukener and Bax looking towards the inside? Oh, it's so close, but Willumsen and Rodolphe Le Breton lead the way.
Here they go then, Bax chasing, a good start by Hermans and Janssens this time. They're in 3rd, and they're looking number 9, pushing hard. That's Sanders and Rostang. Rostang doing an absolutely amazing job this year with Davy Sanders standing in actual fact. But look at Willemsen. He's got a flyer this time. He learned a lot in the race yesterday. Don't give it away on the first bend. He's not going to. Sanders ahead of Van Lukenen and Robbie Bax. Davy Sanders, Luke Rostang up the inside, looking hard is Van Lukenen. Is there a way through here? I'm not sure. I don't think there is. Behind them, it looked to me like the number 14 of Kuban and Rietman, the all-red strip. Oh, this is fantastic stuff. There's Kuban and Rietman. They're in the mixer on the inside.
Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak are some way down in the pack. There they are, just behind it. Look like Varric and Kunas, but I tell you what, Marvin Van Lukenen and Robbie Bax, they're all over the rear wheels of Davy Sanders and Luke Rostang. They go over the jump side by side. Can Van Lukenen carry the speed into this difficult right-hander?
This is it then. This is a very tight one. He's got to somehow get himself alongside if he possibly can. Over this last jump, into the left-hander, onto the start-finish straight. Over they go, onto the start-finish straight, driving hard round this bottom corner. Hermans goes through. Here we go then, they're fantastically charging. Sanders still ahead of Van Lukenen in the chase for Hermans. Van Lukenen trying to find a way past, he needs to. 2-1-4 to Crusher. That's Van der Stralen and Jens Mans. Now, is that Glenn Van der Stralen? The driver is down on the ground, so a couple of injuries there, not sure what happened. Oh, that's a big roll. A massive overturn for Glenn Van der Stralen. And it's Jens Mans who took the knock. Both looking at each other there. They're both going to be okay, I think. Knock the wind out of them. I find it hard to keep a straight face when I look at you with this bag on my head. That's what we do. Look at this. Back said, looking on the inside. On the outside, nay, on sweeping in the back, he's taking the lead. Etienne Bax, Nicolas Mousset in front, go past Daniel Willemsen, who did not appear to get the drive there. Willemsen now in second. In third place, it is Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens, but Bax is not running away with it this time. Willemsen, Rodolphe Le Breton going so hard behind him, coming into the picture now. Yes, Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens with the yellow helmets and the blue strip.
So there's a yellow flag being shown in this sector as well, so no overtaking, of course, but Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset side by side almost with Daniel Willemsen and Luc Rostang.
This is a rough, tough sport.
Even, sorry, mistaking the passengers for Frenchmen at least, but yeah, Rodolphe Le Breton passenger with Daniel Willemsen.
Rodolphe Le Breton, the new young passenger for this year, looking absolutely good. He knows what he's got to do. He's been around the French scene quite a time, grew up in the paddock as so many of these young French motocross riders did. A strong tradition of sidecar cross in France, a strong tradition of sidecar cross in the Netherlands, and a strong tradition of sidecar cross here in the Czech Republic. Etienne Bax, Nicolas Mousset, Koen Hermans, Glenn Janssens chasing hard into that left-hander. Now, round that sweeping turn, that's where his speed is phenomenal.
It certainly is, and he carries so much corner speed into that left-hander, as you quite rightly say, but Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Le Breton in second place. They're coming under a lot of pressure, but Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens look like they got a little bit bogged down on the exit of that third turn, that difficult left-hander hairpin, through the right-hander, over the jump, and then down this perilous drop towards the bottom end of the circuit.
This could be a Dutch championship race. We've got 3 Dutch riders at the front and a Belgian chasing hard behind. Looking at the progress further down the order, we're still waiting to see young 31 Veldman come through. But look at this now, this is close, looking at the inside. And there's one. Can Hermans get the drive? He's certainly trying everything he knows. He does not want to get Etienne Bax too far away, and Bax is clearing off this battle now. They're tripping each other up. Who do we have in 4th place? We still are. Varric is up there in 6th. Veldman in 7th now. Stegman's another cracking start for the veteran. Koen Hermans alongside Daniel Willemsen. Can he make it stick?
Fantastic stuff then for the battle for second place. Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens go around the outside. They've made the move, so Daniel Willemsen goes into 3rd place. Now Koen Hermans makes his way up into 2nd place, and with the pace that he's shown yesterday, Barry, I think, could he take the fight to Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset?
Well, he's on the case much earlier, so he's got a lot more time to do it in. 25 minutes on the clock. We've only had 5 minutes of racing, would you believe? I'm already exhausted. It feels like 5 hours. Van Lukenen and Robbie Bax there on the heels now of the fast-starting Daniel Willemsen. Well, I've said it before and I'll say it again. That guy can certainly get the thing out of the gate, can't he?
He certainly can. And I was just watching the graphic at the bottom of the screen there. The man in 7th place, Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak.
7th place then for Veldman and Chermak. Varick, they're up to 6 now. They've gone past Kuban and Rietman. So Veldman on a bit of a charge in 6th place. This is a battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th for Van Lucena. The red plate, not where he wants to be. It was 3rd yesterday. He's got to do better today. He's not got to let those arms pump up. He's got to keep the power on, keep the grit in his veins over those big jumps. This is where he said it's frightening and it could be dangerous. I fully understand that.
Well, he carries so much more corner speed than all got hands up there from Van Lucena and back's not quite sure why, but they're ahead of Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton now. So the current red plate holders in 3rd place, just behind Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens, but out in front by quite some margin, Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset.
I was wondering if that was a shake of the hand for the circulation, for the forearm.
It could well be.
Because Robbie did it as well. It could be something they've discussed with the physio. Just a flick might move the blood that's collecting in the muscles that causes the arm pump. It's the lactic acid build-up that causes your forearms to pump up and make it difficult so you can't grip with your fingers, and that is when it becomes hairy.
Kurt Varick and Larry Kunas through the picture. There is Julian Veldman and Ondrej Cermak. So Ondrej Cermak, the local rider, a bit of a home hero is Ondrej around this part. But Justin Kuban and Dion Rietman and number 14 crew just ahead of Lucas Cherney and Bastien Chopin.
7th place, 8th place for Cherney. There we have Kuban, Justin Kuban and Dion Rietman, and Lucas Cherney and Bastien Chopin behind them. So we're looking at the 7th place there. Ahead of them, Kurt Varick and Laurie Kunas. Back at the front, Hermans has gone around, Willemsen has gone around, Van Lucena now chasing, and Veldman is on his way, Varick's on his way. Here we go. This is Veldman on a mission, you know. He is going well. He is,
and he's just 1.5 seconds behind Varick and Kunas. And tell you what, as you said quite rightly earlier on today and yesterday as well, the elastic band, he will be right there in his vision, and the elastic band will contract until they're right there, right on the rear wheels. And Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton was that just going out of picture.
Who are talking to each other. Willemsen was talking to Lebreton. Whether he was giving him some positional tips, I have no idea. But there's something going on between Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton. A bit of a conversation, how they make themselves heard. Look at this, Julian Veldman and Ondrej Cermak, the number 31. They're still ahead of Varick. It's Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton. But Veldman closing all the time. Veldman is closing all the time. He is going to move up 2 more places. I absolutely know it.
He certainly is. And the gap between himself and Van Lucena in the championship coming into this round is 6 points. So he will lose a little bit more points, unfortunately, on the red plate holder. But I'll tell you what, well, fourth place is better than 6th.
Well, I think he might even stand a chance if he gets past these two, stand a chance of winding in Van Lucena. Who knows if Marvin Van Lukena's problems recur, and we have got 20 minutes and 2 laps to go. These Grand Prix races are so long, and when you're out there, it does seem long if you're not doing well. If you're having a good ride, what's he pointing across at?
I'm not quite sure, but the left hand definitely came off the handlebars for Daniel Willemsen there.
So the bit of instruction going on for the young passenger, not quite sure what it meant, but he's doing a bit of on-the-job coaching here. Kurt Varick and Larry Kunas, we've not talked so much about them, and we should do really, because they're having a great season, aren't they?
They really are. They're 4th place in the championship so far with 119 points, 10 more than Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton in 5th. But I'll tell you what, they're battling in championship and also on circuit as well, because they're right there locked together in battle as they come across the line this time around. 4th, 5th and 6th came across the line less than 2 seconds apart.
Veldman lost a bit of momentum there. Varick now going past Willemsen underneath, so moving up a place. Daniel Willemsen going back 1 more place, and here comes Julian Veldman. Julian Veldman now on the back of the 10 times champion. There's a discussion here, so there's a problem, and I think there's going to be a bit of a retirement here for Willemsen. Something is not right between him and Rodolphe Lebreton.
There really isn't, is it? I'm saying they've lost 2 positions and they're losing time hand over fist as they drop down that perilous plunge into that difficult left-hander. But Kurt Varick and Larry Kunas now then up into 4th place with Julian Veldman and Ondrej Cermak. Such pace from the number 31 crew.
Here they go then. Let's see what they can do about Varick and Kunas. I feel somewhat sorry for Daniel Willemsen, because clearly nothing is right. It's not all well there. The CBD chassis and the mega engine, he's got that prepared and tuned to his own liking with lots of top-end power. Well, if you want top-end power and speed, you need it here at Kramolin, buddy. That is for sure. Julian Veldman, 31 now. Can he wind in Kurt Varrick and Larry Kunas? And I believe he will. With a clear track ahead of him, he's only got himself to worry about until he gets on the back of Varrick, and that is going to be pretty soon.
Yeah, I think you're quite right on that one. Throwing it sideways into that left-hander was Julian Veldman. Andre Cermak, he said to us on Friday that, well, sometimes with a young Julian Veldman driving him around, they sometimes get scared. But to be fair, look at those guys. They've got a screw loose there somewhere, haven't they? Surely. I mean, Andre Cermak throws his body weight to the left-hand side into this left-hander before the final jump. But it really is fantastic stuff from these crews.
Out in front, Etienne Bax, Nicola Mousset. Second place, Herman, 6 seconds the advantage Etienne Bax has in this race. Van Lukener there sitting in third place, and chasing hard it's Varrick. Then we've got this guy, Julian Veldman, Andre Cermak. This is where the focus is, because what can Julian Veldman do? He needs to get past Van Lukener. Yellow flag being waved.
The yellow flag was just shown there, and who's that on the inside? Looks like was that Ian Copson, Paul Horton?
Looks like Ian Copson, Paul Horton.
It's definitely their
stranded on the right-hand side on the orange. That is where Veldman is phenomenal. I want to take a look at that section of the course, because that is just so hair-raising. That is indeed the number 98, Ian Copson, Paul Horton.
Paul Horton being helped off the bike there. It looked as though he was limping off of the sidecar, so hopefully he's okay. Of course, he had a little bit of an incident as well at Langay, where he just went over the top, and unfortunately the sidecar wheel went over him, but it seemed okay from that one. But fingers crossed then Paul Horton is okay. He was definitely being helped off the machine, but
well, we don't know if they were upside down or not. We only caught them when they were on 3 wheels and at the side of the track with the marshals. Varrick and Kunas. Here comes Veldman and Cermak. The battle is about these two now. Can Julian Veldman get another notch on his bedpost and go up the inside? He's having a look. He's right on the back now of Varrick. So can he get the mega drive onto the rear wheel? He's having a really good try now. Julian Veldman, where's it going to be? How quick is he on that last final bend? That one after the start finish. Here they come round, a right-hander now, and then he's on the inside having a look. Oh, how close you want it? The passenger, Larry Kunas, not having any of that. He nearly snatched his clutch cable.
They're absolutely dogfighting it, but Julian Veldman at the inside. Oh, that's very, very close to coming off there, but Julian Veldman and Andre Cermak, whoa, that was a squeeze into the final corner. Kurt Varrick and Larry Kunas, they were not happy.
No, they weren't, and Varrick, of course, had no argument that time because he was going the driver's side on the inside. So up to fourth, Julian Veldman, Andre Cermak, mean business here. Ahead of them now are the man they need to pass. Is the man they need to pass to whittle down the points deficit.
The gap is 9 seconds.
9 seconds the gap. Well done. Thank you, Bradley. 9 seconds the gap between Marvin van Lukener and Julian Veldman, and they are on a mission. Varrick and Kunas relegated 1 place. The hard Estonian had a taste of his own medicine there, although he's a very clean rider. I don't want him coming punching me on the nose.
No. But yeah, Kurt Varrick and we can see Larry Kunas, he was protesting that move, or that first attempt at the move, but he couldn't for the second one. Hopefully we do get a replay of that, because that really was too close for comfort. But
well, he was tight on the passenger, wasn't he? There was nowhere for the passenger to move.
No, absolutely not. But Julian Veldman and Andre Cermak do have superior pace, it would seem, because Kurt Varrick and Larry Kunas, that elastic band is just stretching to the point of breaking nearly. But Marvin van Lukener and Robbie Bax 9 seconds up the road ahead of Veldman and Cermak. That is a battle between third and fourth, with 9 seconds the difference.
Oh, calming down here, halfway through the initial 30 minutes. 15 minutes showing. Julian Veldman, Andre Cermak not dropping Kurt Varrick away as I would have expected, but further down the order, Gordy Evans-Stupilis in 12th. Captions disappear. Let's have a look at that. This is the passing move, so he goes through on the inside. They're already past, but they nearly throw it away. I didn't see how sideways they got. That was scary. He had the front brake on, and the back wheel skipped round. They were lucky to save that.
Well, if Andre Cermak was scared before, he would be absolutely terrified right now.
Yeah, that was a good save, as they'd say in road racing terms. Race leaders, Etienne Bax, Nicolas Mousset. Just 6 seconds clear now. 5.8 in actual fact of Herman's, with Veldman, Cermak closing. A good job again by Etienne Bax. If he marches on to 25 points here, well, that will really put him in the pound seats for the final race, won't it?
It really will. It really will. The gap between Bax and Veldman right now is 6 points. 145 for Bax and 151 for Veldman, but 25 points currently going the way of Bax, and of course 18 points for Veldman. That is a difference of 7. So Bax will go ahead of Veldman if it stays like this, Barry.
Race leaders, Etienne Bax, Nicolas Mousset charging through, Koen Hermans, Glenn Janssens. Have they got the speed? We've been focusing on Veldman coming through, but this gap between first and these guys in second has not come down. But at half distance, you might imagine they portray some of that speed we saw in the second half of the opening race, in which case they would close down the race leaders. But I'm not seeing much evidence. He seems to have cooled it just a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're right there. It's quite right in saying that they look as though they're cooling it down. But Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens, will they get a second wind as we head into the second half of this race? And of course, the 2 laps at the end could prove vital as well.
There they go, up onto the start-finish.
Is this Varric and Van Lukenen just making his way around the outside of one of the back markers? So back markers already coming into play then, and it looks like Marco Heinzer and Mr. Shelbert there, unfortunately having to pull off to the side of the circuit, so not good at all for the Swiss pairing.
As the captions roll through, I'm looking to see...
Still 9 seconds between Van Lukenen and Veldman. Hermans and Janssen 7 seconds behind Bax and Mousset.
Is Willemsen still running in 6th place, 5 seconds behind Varric. So whatever the discussion was between them, it wasn't terminal. They are still in the running, but in 6th place and a good way out, the early race leaders. The rest of the field coming through. Here comes Veldman.
That was Stacey and Alex van der Belt. Stacey just points to Veldman to go around the outside, so hats off to the 1, 2, 3 crew. The twins, 27-year-old is Stacey and Alex van der Belt, but tell you what, Kurt Varric and Larry Kunas, the red mist really has descended on the Estonian and the Finnish rider.
Yeah, they haven't given up. They're going, Veldman is pulling them along. Veldman then underneath, or just about to go underneath another tail ender. And you're quite right, Kurt Varric has got second win. He's wound them in here. Veldman might have to look to his laurels here, because there's a bit of revenge going on here, I think. Yeah. Kurt Varric and Larry Kunas will desperately want to nail the young Dutchman if they possibly can, but look at the style of Veldman over there. Calming it down, they definitely are. Through they go on the inside of the number 61, Ladislav Pech and Vidaslav Pech, the Czech lads. Down the order, they've been lapped, then Veldman goes through, still in 4th place. 5th it is for Varric, and still 6th for Daniel Willemsen. But in among the traffic now, Veldman needs to get his wick turned up here and do something special, because in my book, he's not doing enough now to get on the back of Van Lukenen, which is what he has to do.
He's not. I'm sure he's getting pit signals letting him know what the gap is between himself and the man in front, Marvin Van Lukenen and Robbie Bax, of course. These are the guys battling. That's the trio at the top of the table in terms of World Championship standings. But Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset having a fantastic ride, 7.5 seconds ahead of Hermans and Janssens. What is the gap this time around? It is still 9 seconds between Van Lukenen and Veldman.
7.6 the lead Bax has over Hermans, and then about another 8 back to Van Lukenen, and still 9, as you quite rightly say. And there's only 2 seconds between this man and Veldman. Well, it's about 3 bike lengths. You can see it. It's visual, so don't worry about the clock. You can see what they're doing. The rest of the back markers, the lapped riders coming through, but of course coming quickly will be Daniel Willemsen, and there, to name the man, is Daniel Willemsen, having sorted out whatever problems he has, in 6th place and charging. So I have to say that I think if 6th place equals what he did in race 1, which is what it will be, then that is no mean achievement. That is about the level that Daniel Willemsen finds himself at here in Kramolin.
Yeah, you're certainly right. So he had a fantastic start, got the whole shot initially, but Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset proved too much of a force to be reckoned with. But Daniel Willemsen put up a fantastic battle between himself and Van Lukenen, Veldman, Varric, of course, all in the mix there, but not quite sure what did happen between Willemsen and Le Breton. It doesn't look like a mechanical one, so maybe just having a conversation throughout the course of this race. Some minor adjustments between rider and passenger, but it looks to be working now.
It does, yeah. 6th place is good, that's respectable. Van Lukenen still holding that gap over Veldman. Veldman needs to get charging. And then we've got Cherny Chopin in 7th place, Kuben Rietman. Brown Millard in 9th. Now that is better. That is better. Jake Brown and Joe Millard, the number 8 crew, in 9th place. They obviously had a good start. I didn't actually clock where they were on the opening lap, but there's Lucas Cherney and his French passenger doing a great job. Bastien Chopin, no relation to the famous pianist, because he is Polish.
I suppose that gives it away.
He was Polish. He was Polish.
He was.
Yeah.
Lucas Cherney, Bastien Chopin, a little bit of a nosedive there, I suspected. But they were doing a good job there, holding that position. But good support there for the Estonian. Of course, Kurt Varrick in 5th place. The number 6 crew with Larry Kunas, the Finnish passenger. The gap between himself and Veldman and Chermak is still less than 2 seconds, Barry.
Yeah, that's a battle, I think. Looking at Lucas Cherney now, and Bastien Chopin on the Java machinery, so homegrown Czech power, Czech team, French passenger, Czech bike. No, it's not. It's a WSP Willemsen bike they're on, but it's a Czech engine that's in it. Java, a long tradition of making motorcycles. I've said it many times, but I'm such an admirer of the brand, and so good in speedway as well. The Java engine later to be named ISO, renamed ISO under the communist regime, renamed it, but the Java was the core machine that started production in speedway and doing a great job under Lucas Cherney.
Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens has brought the gap down to 6.4 seconds, but is it too little too late with just 7.5 minutes remaining plus the 2 laps?
I would say it's not too late, because you could do it in 2 laps if they got their mojo, but it's finding the mojo, and it's a question of understanding what they need to do. And of course they are not, I have to say, in 7th place coming into here, they are not 8th place, 6th place, I beg your pardon, not in contention for the championship. It can't really be done unless some miracle befalls them and disaster the top crews ahead of them. But nonetheless, a good ride here by Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens, making their championship position much more respectable. Jake Brown, Joe Millard looking good. The left-hand sidecar, the only left-hand surviving sidecar in this race. They're the young British crew, son, of course, of Stuart Brown, multiple British champions, something like 16 or 17 times. They stand to be corrected. Lifted the title again in the 2021 season, but his absence here at world level very much noticed, and he's very missed, having gone out on such a high at the end of 2019 with double victory in the final round that my young colleague Bradley Hicks was commentating on.
I was, yeah, and as you said, the Triple A crew of Stuart Brown and Chamberlain, it was passenger, of course. That was the British Championship winning pairing of this year. 17 times, I think you're right there, Barry, times a British champion, but it looks like the Jake Brown and Joe Millard just getting caught up with the traffic again. Stacey and Alex van der Velde show Jake Brown and Joe Millard that they should go to the inside, so Backmarker's doing a good job there.
On their charge then, a good ride here by Jake Brown, and they need it. They stalled in race 1. They've had an absolute shocking season with 4 not very strong finishes and all sorts of problems in the opening 2 GP, but they're here doing the job in this second one, and a good respectable ride in 9th place at the moment, and they're only 3 seconds behind Kuban and Rietman ahead of them. So if they can wind in the red-shirted number 14 crew, that will be a good result for them again. So they need to keep that Zabel going, keep the wick turned up, pretend they're a lot fitter than they feel, because that's what it needs. It's psychological as well. Your head's got to tell you, you did that lap at good speed, you can do the next lap at good speed. So keep the power on, Jake. Keep it going. You've got what it takes, buddy.
Here we go. This is a highlight of the start here, and just a quick highlight. Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset put it up the inside of Stefan Vyers and Loic van der Putten. It looked like on the 4.18.
It was.
But Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset, as soon as they hit the front, nobody could really stop them. But I was just thinking there, Jake Brown and Joe Millard, this is the 8th race of the season, and this is probably the only one where nothing has gone wrong so far.
16 seconds back to the man in 3rd position, Marvin van Leeuwen, and somewhere in the middle there, Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens closing in. Still in 4th we have Veldman, and he's not doing enough. Etienne Bax, we're with him now. He and Nicolas Mousset, the number 82. Ahead of the man, the chasing pair of Hermans and Glenn Janssens. So many passenger changes over what we've had really an entire season away, and then only a very short season this time. And traditionally, the silly season where everybody changes passengers, or most crews do, a little bit difficult to keep up with, but no mistaking these two, former champions together in 2017, race leaders here, race winners in race one, and with just under 4 seconds left on the clock before we start 2 laps. They're doing it again here at Kramolin in the Czech Grand Prix, the second Czech Grand Prix of 2021 in style.
There really are. 6.4 seconds is the gap between Bax and Hermans. So I'll tell you what, I think Hermans and Janssens, they're going to have to settle for second place. Van Lukener and Bax, the red plate holders, in third place. What is the gap now? The gap has shrunk between Van Lukener and Veldman. It was 9 seconds for a lot of the race there, as Stacey and Alex van der Velde are back in the picture. But the gap this time around, 5 seconds between Van Lukener and Veldman. So can Veldman and Andres Chermak get the better of Van Lukener and Bax as we look at Gert Gordiev and Kasper Stupelis. Kasper Stupelis takes a look over his left shoulder, and Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset are coming and they're charging hard. Of course, Kasper Stupelis was with Etienne Bax in 2019 when they won the championship. But Gert Gordiev, Kasper Stupelis, that is very, very experienced crew right there.
And there we have the race leaders then, and Kaspers will be looking at his buddy. I'm surprised he doesn't put a thumbs up. He knows Etienne Bax is on the outside line, and now he's on the inside line for the right-hander at the end of the jump, and through he goes. The master. I'm going to call him the master because Etienne Bax is an absolutely committed and dedicated Sidecarcross driver, has a very professional, in fact,
that's Jake Brown and Joe Millard.
Not again, misfortune for Brown and Millard. And they look like they've got a misfire problem. It won't rev up. Something's happened with the exhaust system.
Yeah.
The baffles come out. The baffles come out, and even if they get over the line, they will have noise check and noise problems. The baffle coming out of the tailpipe. That's 9th place. They were going so well, and it's all gone wrong for them. What do they have to do to get a lucky break?
Well, I was just saying that Jake Brown and Joe Millard, this is the first race where they haven't had any problems yet, and unfortunately it looks as though I've put the commentator's curse on them because, as you say, unfortunately the exhaust system there with a little bit of damage. But Hermans and Janssens, 4.2 seconds is the gap now between Bax and Hermans. Van Lukener are a further 13 seconds behind, but 5 seconds behind Van Lukener and Bax is Veldman and Chermak.
Hermans closing in, 4.2. 4.2. Now, has Bax called it, knowing that he's got 2 laps to do, or has Hermans really got the bit between his teeth? So it's retirement time for Brown and Millard, and it's all over for them. What a shame. So a few points in race 1, no points in race 2 for the young British crew. That is a fiasco. Hearts go out to them. What a shame. Let's have a look, see if we can see what happened. It struggled, and it died. Now something happened. The baffle is coming out. They haven't discovered that yet, but it could not take the power. Yeah, the throttle, it wouldn't drive. It stalled on that climb.
Great shame then for the British pairing, Jake Brown and Joe Millard. But we're back with the leader, Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset. 25 points in yesterday's race, and well, it's looking like they're on course to take another 25 in this one, of course. 30 seconds left on the clock. I think they'll make it back across the line before the 2-lap board goes out. So we're looking like 3 laps remaining in this race. But there's Jake Brown and Joe Millard still there on the circuit, pushing their WSP Zarball to the side. But Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset through the picture and over the final jump.
Next time round there'll be a 2-lap board, so we've got 3 laps remaining of this circuit, and the gap back to Hermans, 4 seconds and falling. 4.1 to Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens. That's what they trail the race leaders by. Etienne Bax has still got traffic ahead of him.
Jan
the number
Pavel
20,
Bukal.
yeah, the Bukal boys. So they are in there, Jan and Pavel in their distinctive green. Etienne Bax, Nicolas Mousset then. Next time round it'll be penultimate lap, but will they know they are being closed down? The gap last time 4.1. Where's Hermans? There is Hermans. There is Hermans.
That is not a 4-second gap.
That is not a 4-second gap. Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens
They're right there.
They're coming.
They are coming.
They are coming, and there's traffic ahead of Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset and their Glenn Janssens, and with his driver Koen Hermans, you get them mixed up, get it in the wrong order, doesn't matter, they both contribute. The number 3 crew on a mission here. Now this will give them renewed vigour, renewed energy, and everything to go for.
It will. So a little bit bogged down there for Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens, but they will see Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset right there in a picture. 4 seconds was the gap last time around. I'll tell you what, the race win is right there in front of their eyes. Peter and Jarno Steegmans is the slow rider in the sandwich there between first and second, but hopefully they'll move out of the way. Of course, father and son pairing in what will be their final GP together. But what can you say about Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens? Over the top they go, just 2 more corners and 2 more jumps then for Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens before the 2-lap board is shown.
They are incredible. They are really incredible. They get faster as the race goes on. Coming around to the bottom, here they come. They've got the race leaders in sight with no traffic between them at this moment. 2-lap board is out. So a little under 6 kilometres of this Kramolin motocross circuit, this wonderful Kramolin motocross. It'll be about 5 kilometres actually. Have to put my spare teeth in. Etienne Bax, Nicolas Mousset then going through the traffic here. Koen Hermans is on his way, and it looks to me as though that might be the 14 crew ahead of them, of Kuban and Rietman, but we shall see. Where is Koen Hermans? Koen Hermans waiting for him to come over the jump. No, I think Etienne Bax has pulled the pin again. Looks like he might have done. Koen Hermans not as close as he was, waiting for him to jump into shot. That is indeed Justin Kuban, number 14 ahead. Here they go.
There they are. You can just see the shadow over the jump. There they are then. So 3.0 was the gap between Bax and Hermans. But this time around, will Justin Kuban and Dion Rietman, or will they be favourable for Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset, or will they play a part in this race? They move aside, so Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset are through. Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens then. 1.5 laps to go. Oh, who's it going to be? We've got a race on our hands here, Barry.
This is a heart stopper. Hermans and Janssens then behind Kuban and Rietman. Justin Kuban, Dion Rietman, no, they're still the sandwich in the filling in the sandwich here. But Hermans on the inside, he's got to go for that inside line. No, he's going to go wide and get the drive and the speed. Well, that's a calculated gamble. Has it paid off, though? Has it given him enough momentum to get on the tail end of Kuban? And he's got past him, he's alongside. Yeah, Kuban looks over, moves out of the side. Now it's clear track again. We are into the final lap. This is the penultimate lap, and when they come round next time, 1 lap to go, and Bax is ahead, Bax is visible. What can Hermans do? This is sensational stuff. Hermans will appear in your shot over the top of the hill on the last lap. Oh, do half of it at least.
4.3 seconds is the gap between Bax and Mousset. Hermans and Janssens still there, charging hard around that fast turn 2, heavily banked down to drop into this difficult hairpin turn 3 then. And we've got a few more pieces of traffic in the way, but Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset. There is Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens in the picture through turn 4 now for the reigning champion, Etienne Bax, Nicolas Mousset. Championship winning pairing of 2017. The number 73 of Halava and Hrafovec are coming into picture. Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset go to the outside. The crew have spotted them, so they will keep well out of the way. But Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens, I think it's a little bit too much now that we're on the final lap.
I do too. I don't think that's a doable situation now. The tail ender between them, the Czechs in between, as Bax and Mousset throw it round that right-hander into the left. Hermans still has the Czechs ahead of him now. This is not going to happen for Koen Hermans, but what a brave and valiant fight back that was.
That's Julian Veldman and Van Lukenen. Veldman's got at the inside of Van Lukenen, shoves him wide, so Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak now ahead of Marvin Van Lukenen.
Oh, that's sorted out the points thing there. That's done what he had to do. We were so entrenched and enchanted with the battle at the front. That is amazing stuff. Van Lukenen and Veldman still showing on our timing screen as being 4th behind Van Lukenen. The pictures tell a different story, do they not? Here we go then. Race leaders and race winners designate coming over that jump there, the round to the right-hander, getting the air horns and the applause from the crowd as they come up and over this jump into the final left-hander before the climb and victory. Here comes Hermans and Janssens. Hermans and Janssens have done well but not done enough. It's victory number 2 for Bax and Mousset. Another runner-up spot for Hermans and Janssens. Got to be pleased with that. But who is it going to collect third? Is it going to be Veldman? Is it going to be Van Lukenen? Let's wait. As we wait then, we follow the race winners into the Parc Fermé. Here they come, it's Julian Veldman. Julian Veldman over ahead of Marvin Van Lukenen. Third place on the podium for Julian Veldman, Andre Chermak. I've got to cool down, do a summary.
Well, Bax and Mousset take the win, 3.8 seconds ahead of Hermans and Janssens. Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak, where did they find the speed? Look at this, 8 seconds was the gap between Veldman and Van Lukenen at the end of the race. So Veldman and Chermak didn't get the best of starts. They were 7th at the end of the first lap, Barry. Fought their way up into 3rd place and have closed the gap at the front of the championship. In fact, it was 12 points covering the top 3. It's going to shrink again.
Do the sums. You keep talking. I'll do the sums.
Well, we'll have to see, but the 12 points was the gap. Bax and Mousset then with 25. Hermans and Janssens on 22 and Veldman and Chermak on 20. But we can go down there now with Yeva and speak to our race winner.
So I'm here down with Etienne. We'll give him a second. So Etienne, congratulations, another fantastic race in your pocket. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, well, it's just great, you know. It's just how we wanted to be this weekend, and so far it's going well. Of course, we have one race to go, and it's very important, but so far we're very happy. It was a difficult race because from the second lap I got a stone in my rear brake, so I ride all motor without rear brake, and the steep downhills takes a lot of power from your brakes. And I need to do this only on the front brake, so it means that the front brake warms up very hard and losing pressure. So it was a little bit difficult, but I knew we need to stay in the front, you know. So that was our goal, and we managed that. So really happy and looking forward for the second moto.
All right, I'll let you go, rest up, because I know the break is really short. So good luck for the last moto.
Thank you.
Oh, well, I don't know. We've just done some scribbling with a piece of paper. We reckon the gap between the top 3 is now 5 points, and that'll be confirmed when we see our standings. But that is an amazing, amazing race. So engrossed were we with that race at the front that we overlooked. We in the commentary box overlooked the fact that Veldman was on Van Lukenen's case. I think that's a repetition of Van Lukenen's problems, fading that quickly.
I think you could be right there, but well, Veldman and Chermak really capitalising on that one, but right now we can go down there to a second place finisher, Koen Hermans.
So I got Koen here. Koen, it feels like yesterday all over again, doesn't it?
Yeah, we are really happy with again a second place. The engine was again really good. With this heat we didn't have a glitch, so it was a little bit difficult to ride, but yeah, we are still really happy about the speed of today.
What is the plan for the third and final race today?
Just the same. We try to catch Etienne for the next race, but yeah, we will see. I hope we can finish again on the top 3, and then we are really happy about this weekend.
Well, it's good to see you back on the top, and I'll wish you good luck for the next race.
Yeah, thank you.
I would correct him there. He doesn't have to catch Etienne. He has to go with him from the very word.
Yes, no, you're absolutely right there. Yeah, I can say he really does have the pace, and it's so good that it's finally coming together here in the 3rd GP out of 4 in the 2021 World Championship. But he just needs to nail the start, and then he can go with him. And 25 points could be on the cards for young Koen Hermans.
Yeah, they are flying this weekend in Kramolin. There's no doubt about that. So another runner-up spot. It really, really helps their standings, and they get a respectable finish in the championship going into Os, which it's still all to play for. There's an awful lot. We have this very, very tight situation at the top of the table. But away they went then, an absolutely flying start. But what happened to Van Lukenen? Well, he tumbled. He didn't tumble down the order. He didn't tumble on the track. I think it might have been a repetition of his forearm pump. I don't know. He faded towards the end. What can I say about Hermans and Glenn Janssens? They started strongly, not as strongly as the others, but once they got past Willemsen, they knew what they had to do. They were winding in the leaders ahead of them as hard as they could, and they just kept charging. In my opinion, they settled a bit mid-race. The start was fantastic. The old warhorse Willemsen did a terrific job getting it off the line, but it wasn't long before Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset were past him again. Once they were in front, once again, there was no looking back. They were just so remorseless in their progress. Overall classification in terms of points, You can't get better than 50. 44 for Hermans. He's only lost 6. Van Lukener, Veldman, they've equaled their scores. So fair play. They've got a lot to play for going into the final race. Varick, a disgruntled Varick, I'm sure, will be huffing and puffing his way around the paddock. Hope he doesn't lay one on Julian Veldman. Daniel Williamson equals 6 in the race, and there he is. That's a good result. Come on, new passenger, you're doing well, Daniel. And some stage you're going to have to step aside. Let's face it. Bukal, Lagermatt, Vyers, Marco Heinzer, we saw retirement then from him. And we saw retirement for Jake Brown and Joe Millard. What a shame. A 0 for them when they were lying in 9th place, probably 8th. What a shame. Never mind, one more race to go. Don't go home empty-handed. We've got quads and sidecars coming up. The weather is fantastic. From me, Barry Nutley, and on behalf of Bradley Hicks, we're going to take a breather. Don't go away. We'll be back with more. Thank you. Bye-bye for now.
Williamson is 10 times the world champion. Bax and Stupilis, they've done it again. Unbelievable. Marvin Van Lukener certainly deserves the red plate. And what an incredible sport this is. Fast, high and spectacular. Unbelievable.